Beloved brothers and sisters, another day begins, and this alone is already a precious gift that God gives us. Before the responsibilities and decisions of the day occupy our thoughts, let us establish our hearts in the presence of the Lord. Today we are going to unite in prayer with Psalm 126, a word that announces that God's restoration can completely change a story. The word declares, "Those who sow with tears will reap with joy." What was done with sincerity, what was born from faith, what was sown even in difficult times remains alive before God and prepared for the time of the answer. Share your name in the comments and also remember someone who needs God's help and protection. Subscribe to the channel to continue taking part in these moments of prayer. Now, remain with me and let us pray. Eternal God, I begin this prayer recognizing something that sustains my life. You have always been present in my story. When I look at the journey I have already traveled, I realize how many stages have marked my path. There were days of hope, moments of learning, and also seasons when everything seemed slower and quieter than I imagined. The words of Psalm 126 have a profound meaning. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. This verse shows the power of God's work. What seemed to take too long, too difficult, or too far away can be touched by your hand and transformed into restoration. We, as human beings, often go through seasons that seem like stagnation. There are moments when everything seems stuck, as if life had stopped at the same point. Dreams remain suspended, answers take time, and the heart learns the weight of waiting. Yet your word reminds us that the story never ends in captivity when the Lord is leading the way. The God who allowed the journey is also the God who brings restoration. Father, I recognize that my life sometimes still feels like deserts, places where I have already felt limited, places where I have already thought that nothing could change. Perhaps they were situations that deeply marked my journey, moments of fear, losses, closed doors, or seasons when I could not understand your silence. Even so, today, I choose to remember that the Lord has the power to transform stories. Just as the Lord restored Zion, I believe that you also transform destinies. What seemed imprisoned in the hands of time can be restored by your power. What seemed permanent can be changed by your grace. The Lord is an expert at transforming captivity into testimonies. Sometimes it seems that certain situations will never change, but your power goes far beyond what my eyes can see. The Lord opens paths where no one sees a way and raises hope where the heart had already grown tired. That is why today I choose to trust again. I choose to believe that the Lord can transform difficult times into new beginnings. I choose to believe that what once seemed like captivity can become a testimony of your faithfulness. And even though I may still be in the middle of the process, I know that you are working. I ask you, visit my soul wherever it needs restoration. Breathe your breath of life over me. May my heart learn to recognize that the Lord is the God who changes any circumstance. God is able to transform tears into joy, silence into testimony, and waiting into a miracle. Even when the path seems long, may I continue walking with hope, knowing that the Lord guides every step. I trust that my life is being led by the God who restores, who sets free and transforms. And even before seeing all the answers, I choose to walk by faith, knowing that you are powerful enough to make all things new within my story. The word declares that when God restored his people, their mouths were filled with laughter and their tongues with songs of joy. It was a living, intense, and contagious joy. A joy so evident that even the nations around them recognized that something extraordinary had happened. When God acts, his work is great. Divine restoration surprises, impacts, and completely transforms the situation. What seemed limited receives new life, and what was marked by waiting becomes a testimony of joy. We all know seasons of expectation and persevering journeys. There are seasons when the heart learns to trust while waiting for God's timing. On these journeys, faith continues moving forward, sustained by the certainty that God's work always goes beyond what we can imagine. The restoration that comes from God goes beyond our measures. It reaches what seemed distant. It opens new paths. It transforms stories into living testimonies. Father, my life is in your hands, and my future is guided by your care. I believe that your grace continues writing new chapters in my story. Fill my heart with hope. Pour courage into me. I desire to fully experience the restoration you have prepared. Just as it happened with your people, I believe there are moments prepared by you when joy becomes visible, clear, and abundant. Testimonies arise, changes happen, and everyone can see that your hand is at work. You have the power to open paths. You have the power to renew dreams. You have the power to guide every detail of my journey. My faith is established in the God who filled the mouths of his people with laughter. The living God remains present, continues caring, and continues working. Prepare my heart also to recognize the times of restoration. Feed my faith and strengthen my hope. My soul learns to trust more and more in your character and your faithfulness. I remember that you are the God who surprises. You are the God who changes stories at the right time. You are the God who transforms tears into celebration. May those who look at my journey recognize your hand, guiding every stage with wisdom and love. I believe that the joy prepared by you is abundant. I believe that the restoration prepared by you brings new beginnings, and at the right time, your hand will reveal something so great that your faithfulness will become evident in my story. Great things the Lord has done for me. Great things the Lord has done in my story. Great things he has done even on the days when I still could not see clearly. Today, I choose to recognize your work, because your hand has been present in every stage of my journey. You were with me in the beginning, you remained with me through the process, and you continue with me now. In every deliverance, in every answer, in every strength received on a difficult day, in every comfort poured out in the silent hours, your goodness was revealed. We often go through seasons when hurry, anxiety, and the weight of struggles try to steal our awareness of what God has already done. The heart becomes occupied with what is still missing, with what it is still waiting for, with what it still longs to see fulfilled. And in this intense movement of the soul, many fail to notice how many signs of care they have already received from heaven. My life carries the marks of your work. Every door opened at the right time carries your signature. Every deliverance that kept me from wrong paths carries your mercy. Every time I thought I would fall and received strength to remain standing, your arm was there sustaining me. Every tear I shed that found comfort in your presence testifies that the Lord has never turned away from me. Your greatness is revealed in many ways, sometimes through visible and immediate miracles, other times through silent processes that patiently and lovingly rebuild what is within. There are moments when the Lord changes the circumstances around me. There are moments when you transform my heart so that I can endure, mature, and continue. In both cases, your work is great. In both paths, your faithfulness remains perfect. I recognize that I have made it this far by your grace. My strength alone could never sustain me through the hardest days. My wisdom alone could never open the paths that were opened. My limited vision could never guide my story with the precision with which the Lord guides it. That is why I declare with truth and gratitude, great things the Lord has done for me, and therefore I am joyful. This joy grows when I understand that every victory comes from you. Every step forward, every answer, every renewal, and every new beginning come from your goodness. My heart is filled with reverence when I realize that the Lord works even in the details that go unnoticed by human eyes. You work in the visible and the invisible. You prepare environments, arrange times, strengthen emotions, align paths, and your will is fulfilled with perfect wisdom. We need to learn again to recognize the great works of God with a sensitive heart. Faith matures when it sees divine action clearly. The soul grows stronger when it stops attributing everything to chance and begins to discern the Lord's providence. There is healing in remembering. There is strength in giving thanks. There is spiritual depth in recognizing that the Lord has always been writing our story with love. Father, open my eyes to see the greatness of your works. Deliver me from the distraction that keeps me from gratitude. Teach me to value every sign of your goodness. Form within me a heart that knows how to remember, contemplate, and give thanks. May I keep a living memory of what the Lord has already done, so that my faith may remain firm before what I am still waiting for. May this truth accompany me on peaceful days and also on intense days, and may it sustain me whenever I need my strength renewed. In light of everything you have already done, my heart moves once again toward your throne and presents a living cry. Restore, O God, my fortune like the streams of the south. I pray with reverence, but also with intensity. I pray with gratitude for what I have already experienced with you, and at the same time with a deep thirst for what will still be renewed by your hand. There is a holy movement in the spiritual life. Those who have already tasted your goodness learn to desire even more of your presence. Those who have already seen your faithfulness at work begin to seek new outpourings of your grace. The restored heart remains dependent, remains sensitive, and remains turned toward heaven. Because the journey with God always leads us to deeper levels of healing, alignment, maturity, and life. There are seasons when the soul needs new breath, periods when some areas have already blossomed, while others are still waiting for the restoring touch of the Lord. There are parts of the journey when we celebrate victories, but at the same time, we feel that there are still rivers to be released into dry regions of the heart. This awareness creates a sincere cry. This cry is not born from ingratitude. Only those who recognize that God continues to be the source of all renewal ask for new restoration. Restore what still needs healing within me. Restore the thoughts that have been worn down by long battles, the emotions that have grown weary in the midst of the processes. Restore my peace, restore my strength, restore my inner joy. Breathe again over what has lost its strength and pour life over what needs to blossom again. I surrender to you the areas of my struggle that are still waiting for intervention. I surrender to you the days when my soul felt weighed down, the places within me where waiting produced weariness. And before you, I declare with faith, your restoration reaches everything that I consecrate in your presence. Just as the streams of the south transform dry land with speed and abundance, I believe that the Lord can also release a sudden move over my story. I believe in rivers flowing where there was once dryness. I believe in renewal coming with strength upon what for a time seemed stagnant. I believe in your power visiting my home, my paths, my mind, my affections, my plans, and my fellowship with you. Divine restoration is not limited to the past. The Lord continues restoring in the present. You continue adjusting paths, strengthening foundations, healing the marks of pain. Faith becomes more mature when it understands that every season requires renewed dependence. At times, God delivers us. At other times, God rebuilds us. At times, God opens doors. At other times, God prepares the heart to sustain what is coming. In all of this, restoration remains the work of heaven. I ask you to visit what only you know completely. Touch what is too deep to be explained in words. Reach memories, expectations, weariness, and needs that remain hidden from others, but completely exposed before your eyes. You know every layer of my soul, and your healing reaches with precision where no one else could ever reach. Restore in me the constancy of faith. Restore in me steadfastness in the secret place. Restore in me the joy of your presence. Restore in me the strength to continue without losing spiritual sensitivity. May my heart beat strongly again before your word. May my soul rejoice again in the place of prayer. May my inner being once again find harmony under your will. Restore relationships that need your peace. Restore my home that needs your light. Paths that need direction. Dreams that need alignment. There is spiritual beauty in continuing to cry out after experiencing victories. This cry reveals maturity because it recognizes that the source continues to be the Lord. It reveals wisdom because it understands that the soul needs to remain close to God. This cry reveals faith because it waits for new rivers, new fruits, and new interventions from heaven. The people who pray for new restoration demonstrate that they know the character of God. The heart that cries out again shows that it has learned where true help has always been found. My future is under your hand. My process is before your eyes. My cry finds a place in your heart. I walk with the certainty that your work continues, that your care remains, and that your restoration reaches everything that needs to be renewed. So I pray once again with firm faith and a surrendered soul, restore my fortune. Pour your rivers over every dry land. Bring forth life where I need renewal. Move with power what needs to flow again. And while your hand is working, establish my heart even more firmly in the certainty that the God who has already done great things continues to act with the same glory, the same faithfulness, and the same love. I bring into this prayer everything that was sown amid the tears of my life, every moment when my heart needed to keep believing, even when it was difficult. Every sacrifice made in silence, every effort maintained, every step taken in faith even when the path seemed heavy. Because there are seeds that are planted on sunny days, but there are others that are planted in the midst of struggle. There are seeds that are born in times of celebration and seeds that are cast into the soil while the eyes are still wet with the tears of perseverance. We know how human and real these moments are. There are periods when continuing to believe requires courage. There are seasons when the heart carries expectations, hopes, and also the weight of waiting. The journey of faith often takes place in that place where pain and hope walk together. But your word reveals something powerful. The tears of the righteous are never wasted before God. Every tear carried with faith becomes a spiritual seed. Every silent perseverance becomes a planting in the field of the future. Every prayer made in the midst of difficulty comes before your throne as a living cry. I place before you the decisions I made seeking to honor your name. The moments when my faith needed to fight against weariness, against fear, and against doubt. You saw every one of those moments. You saw when no one else saw. You know every tear that fell. And your word declares that those who sow with tears will return bringing sheaves of joy. That is why today I strengthen myself in this promise. The field may have received tears, but it also receives seeds. The season may have required perseverance, but it is also being prepared for a harvest. I believe that your faithfulness transforms processes into testimonies. I believe that what was planted with faith will produce fruit at the right time. I believe that the journey that requires perseverance today will also prepare days of celebration. Lord, guard my heart as I continue sowing. Give me strength to remain faithful even when the process requires patience. Renew my hope so that I may continue planting with faith, with love, and with confidence in your promise. May I never lose the courage to continue sowing what is good, to continue seeking your presence, to continue trusting in your word. May the tears of the journey never extinguish the flame of hope within me. Take care of the field, Lord. Breathe your favor. Protect the seeds of faith, strengthen the roots of hope, and prepare the time of harvest, because your promise remains alive. The one who goes forth walking and weeping while casting the seed will return with joy, bringing his sheaves. I believe that the days of harvest are also part of my story, that the joy prepared by the Lord is greater than any tear shed along the way, and that the faithfulness of heaven accompanies every step of those who continue trusting. So I continue with a surrendered heart, with firm faith, with my hands still sowing. and with the living hope that the God who witnessed every tear will also lead me to the moment when my life will return, bringing harvests of joy, testimonies of victory, and fruits that glorify your name. Many times we imagine that only the great decisions in life need your guidance. Yet the spiritual journey reveals something even deeper. God also guides the small steps. Every daily choice, every direction taken, every path traveled is accompanied by your wisdom. We live in a routine filled with movement, responsibilities, and decisions. In the midst of so many activities, the heart learns that the presence of God is also revealed in the simple things. Spiritual life is built step by step, moment after moment, and in every small direction, God's care remains present. Father, today I recognize that my journey is being guided by you. Even on ordinary days, even in simple tasks, your hand continues guiding my path. This truth brings peace to my soul and strengthens my confidence. My God, guide my steps. Illuminate the decisions that are part of my day. Give me discernment to choose paths that are aligned with your will. Form within me a heart that is sensitive to your direction. May I perceive your presence in the details of life. May I walk with spiritual awareness to recognize the signs of your care. May every step be taken with the awareness that I am being guided by your love. Today it is established before heaven and earth. Every hidden opposition falls, every wrongful uprising is broken, every attempt to cause harm is nullified, and your protection remains established over me with strength, truth, and authority. What is still unknown to me is already fully seen by you. That is why I begin this morning with confidence, knowing that your hand is already ahead of every situation I will encounter. As the day begins and life starts moving around me, I recognize that your presence is the foundation of my journey. I do not walk alone through the hours ahead. Your direction accompanies me, your wisdom illuminates every decision, and your protection guards every step. Place upon me the strength to live this day with firmness and balance. May weariness not dominate my movements, may discouragement find no place, and may no pressure take away the peace that comes from your presence. Give me strength to accomplish what needs to be done, and clarity to handle every responsibility with wisdom. May this day be marked by your protection. Guard my paths, guard the places where I will go, guard the environments where I will be. May your hand be upon every journey, every encounter, and every decision. Receive my praise, God of wonders. Receive my gratitude, the acknowledgement of my soul, and the worship that rises from the deepest part of me. May my lips proclaim your faithfulness, may my life reflect your goodness, and may every day of my journey be a response of love to the one who is worthy of all exaltation. You are great in power, you are perfect in love. You are just in all your ways. You are beautiful in holiness. You are glorious in majesty. Therefore I praise you, I bless you, and I exalt you. Today and always your name will be celebrated, because there is no one else like you. There are moments in life when the soul goes through difficult periods, seasons when everything seems heavier, quieter, or more distant than we imagined. There are seasons when dreams remain suspended, answers take time to appear, and the heart needs to learn to walk by faith even when it still cannot clearly see what lies ahead. Psalm 126 is born precisely in this setting of transition, a moment when the people experience something deeply powerful, the restoration that comes from God. The psalmist begins by remembering a time when everything changed in a surprising way. The restoration was so intense that it seemed like a dream. Reality seemed too good to be true. What had once been a burden was transformed into joy. What had once been waiting was transformed into celebration. And when God moves history in this way, something inevitable happens. Joy overflows. The mouth is filled with laughter. The tongue is filled with songs. The atmosphere changes. The environment changes. Even those who are around notice that something extraordinary has happened. The psalm itself declares that the nations recognized the Lord has done great things for them. This reveals something very profound about the way God works. When he restores, the change is neither small nor subtle. Divine restoration touches the story, transforms the environment, and becomes a living testimony for everyone who observes. God does not merely improve a situation, he transforms circumstances. But this psalm also reveals another deeply human truth. Even after experiencing great moments with God, there are still areas of life that continue waiting for renewal. That is why, immediately after celebrating what God has already done, a new prayer arises. Restore, Lord, our fortune. This part of the psalm shows that the journey with God is a continuous process. Faith does not live only on memories of the past, but also on expectation for what God will still do. Spiritual life moves between gratitude for what has already happened and confidence in what is still to come. It is at this point that the psalm presents one of the most striking images in all of Scripture. Those who sow with tears will reap with joy. This sentence carries a profound message about the journey of faith. There are seeds that are planted on days of celebration, but there are also seeds that are sown in difficult moments. There are seeds that are born in times of abundance, and others that are planted in the midst of effort, perseverance, and silent hope. Anyone who has walked by faith for some time knows that there are moments when continuing to believe requires strength. There are seasons when the heart must remain firm, even while it is still waiting for the results. The journey of faith often takes place in that space where hope and perseverance walk together. The psalm reveals that no tear carried with faith is ever lost. Every tear can become a seed. Every step of perseverance can prepare a field for harvest in the future. Every moment of faithfulness becomes part of something greater that God is forming. The final image of the psalm is extremely powerful. It describes someone who goes out to sow while weeping, carrying seeds. There is effort, there is surrender, there is perseverance. But the return from that journey is completely different. The same person comes back with joy, carrying sheaves from the harvest. This image shows the heart of God's work. He sees the process. He accompanies the journey. He knows the weight of the seeds that were planted with effort and faith. And at the right time, he transforms planting into harvest. This psalm speaks directly to everyone who is going through a process. It speaks to those who have already gone through seasons of waiting. It speaks to those who continue sowing even while the result has not yet appeared. It speaks to those who decided to remain firm even when the journey required patience. The message of Psalm 126 is an invitation to continue walking with confidence. The God who restored yesterday continues restoring today. The God who transformed stories in the past continues working in present journeys. The one who accompanies every tear also prepares the moment of joy. The one who sees every seed planted also prepares the time of harvest. That is why this psalm does not end in silence or doubt. It ends in hope. It points to the day when the journey of perseverance is transformed into celebration. The story that today is still being written in the hands of God will also find its moments of restoration. What was sown with faith will find its time to flourish. What today requires trust will also become a testimony of faithfulness. Because the God who guides the journey knows every step of the way, and he never leaves without an answer those who continue walking by faith.